What if Deku chose the path of a villain?
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku was serial killer villain and fell in love with female Todoroki movie. Before we start, please go support Jeff3302J for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. Izuku will be a villain who will change after meeting a girl. Chapter 1. At UA, in the principal's office, all the heroes are gathered. Nezu. As you know, we have to be prepared for the villain's next attack. While showing the video of the USJ attack. Almight. And what do you propose, principal? Nezu. We need more protection, and there's only one man for the job. Making the heroes start to murmur. Endeavor. You're not going to talk about him, are you? In a serious tone. Nezu. That's right. He's the only person who can help us. Almight. But principal, he's a danger. Endeavor and I had trouble catching him. Also serious. Nezu. We have no other choice. It's for the student's sake. Showing a picture of a green-haired boy, we have to bring him in. Some heroes were frightened when they saw the picture of the green-haired boy, others were frozen in place, and still others could swear that if you looked into his eyes, you could see pure evil. But they were snapped out of their thoughts by principal. Nezu. Endeavor, All Might, you will come with me to Tartaros. They both nodded. The three left UA for Tartaros. Upon arriving, they were greeted by two guards. Guard 1. Principal Nezu, what brings you here? Nezu. Good afternoon. I came here to see someone. Guard 2. So, who are you here to see? Nezu. Showing them the picture, causing them to be shocked. Guard 1. No, he isn't serious. Guard 2. He's a monster. Frightened. Nezu. We want to see him. So the two guards escorted them. When they were in front of a door, a guard spoke into the communicator. The door opened, and inside were soldiers with weapons and snipers. They looked worried, and if you looked closely some were trembling, while the prisoners in their cell warned them to leave. Others screamed that they would die, startling the two heroes and the principal. Upon arriving at the cell, the guard was trembling, preventing him from opening the door, but he finally managed it, opening it and withdrawing. Nezu. Let me go in first. If necessary, come in. The two heroes nodded. So the little rodent mustered his courage and entered. It was a small room with very little light. Then he heard the sounds of chains moving, alerting him. What is the UA principal doing here? Nezu. I'm here to propose a deal. Trying not to sound nervous. Interesting. From what I see, it's so serious that you have to resort to me, or am I mistaken, principal? In a mocking tone. Nezu. That's right. By the way, your name is Izuku Midoriya, right? Now the boy known as Izuku remained silent. Nezu. What's wrong? Izuku. Nothing. It's just that it's been years since I heard my real name. So, director, how can I help you? Nezu. I want you to join UA. Izuku. Join UA? Ha 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 ha. Laughing so hard Nezu backed away, me, the most feared villain at UA. Ha 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 ha. Oh please, it's been ages since I laughed like that. Ha ha ha. Wait, are you serious? Stopping laughing. Nezu. That's right. Trying to sound firm. Izuku. Well, and I see you're not the only one here. Surprising Nezu, I see the symbol of peace, All Might, and the number 2 hero, Endeavor, are here too. Shouting, startling the heroes, please, guys, come in, come in. Don't be afraid. It's not like I'm going to do anything to you. Besides, I couldn't, So the two heroes entered and could see better thanks to Endeavor's fire, but they couldn't see the green-haired boy. Nezu. So tell me, do you accept? Izuku's thoughts. If I accept, I'll get out of this damn pigsty, but I'll be under 24-hour surveillance. Besides, I could get some very valuable information and sell it to that league of villains. Outside of Izuku's thoughts. Izuku. I accept, but on 2 conditions. Nezu. And what are they? Izuku. You let me kill the villains, and I want a car. Nezu. Fine, but could you let us see it? Wanting to see the freckled boy. Izuku. Sure. Appearing behind the heroes, so it's a deal. Startling the 3 of them. Nezu. That's right. Extending his hand. And so the 2 sealed the deal. Nezu. I'll come back tomorrow to take him to the facility. Izuku. Okay, it's not like I'm going anywhere. And so, leaving. Endeavor. Do you think this is the right thing to do? Looking at the principal. Nezu. I don't know, but we have to keep an eye on him. A shiver runs down his spine as he remembers the freckled boy's gaze. Meanwhile, in the green-haired boy's cell. Izuku was sleeping, but in his dream, he saw a happy family. He saw Izuku as a child playing in the park with a girl. He couldn't see her clearly because the sun obscured her face. Then she said something to him, but the green-haired boy couldn't quite hear it. The scene changed to an older green-haired girl and a white-haired man, apparently celebrating Izuku's birthday. Then the scene changed to an explosion. Everything went black, but suddenly he saw his house in flames with his parents inside. He tried to scream, but he couldn't, and he woke up abruptly. Izuku? Sweating and agitated, what the hell was that? Who were those people, and who was that girl? He remained lost in thought. The next morning, Nezu, All Might and Endeavor entered the freckled boy's cell. Izuku? Well, I see you've come. Nezu? That's right. Everything's ready. Shall we go? Izuku? Sounds good. As he left, the green-haired boy had to cover his eyes since he hadn't seen sunlight. Ever since he was stopped by the heroes, it had been a little annoying, but little by little he got used to it. After a few hours, they arrived at the facilities where everyone got out. Nezu? Good young Midoriya, welcome to the prestigious hero school. Izuku was a little surprised. He already knew that UA was one of the academies where the best heroes are created, but he never thought it was so big. Nezu? Let's go to my office. I'll explain everything there. Chapter 2. So the green-haired boy accompanied him to the office where the principal explained everything. Nezu? Well, young Midoriya, your class will be Wana and your teacher will be Izawa. Izuku? Okay. Leaving, but is stopped by the principal. Nezu? Wait, young man, you have to put on your uniform. Izuku? I'd rather die than wear that. Putting on a mask and pulling up the hood, then leaving. Endeavor? Don't you think it's better if someone accompanies you? Nezu? Relax, he won't do anything. Besides, he has a collar that prevents him from using his quirk. The green-haired boy walked through the hallways trying to find the classroom, but bumped into someone. Izuku? TSK, watch where you're going. You watch yourself. He spoke in a cold tone. At that, they both got up and looked at each other. The freckled boy saw that he had bumped into a bi-colored girl. Who are you and what are you doing here? Without changing his expression. Izuku? That's none of your business. Trying to leave, but the bi-colored girl was going to grab his arm, but the green-haired boy moved quickly, grabbing his hand and putting him in a headlock. Izuku? Touch me and I'll kill you. He said it in a somber voice that sent a chill down the bi-colored girl's spine. Now, where the hell is that class? Taking out the paper the principal gave him. The bi-colored girl felt a little guilty, so she decided to help him. Hey, do you want me to help you? Izuku? TSK, whatever. I've been looking for this for an hour. Handing him the paper. Oh, I see you're in my class. Come on, it's this way. Leading him along the path, neither of them said anything. It was a bit awkward until they arrived. Here it is. Entering. Izuku? Wow, this door is big. Touching it, it was quickly opened by Izawa. Huh? I didn't know UA let bums hang around here. A vein popped out on the black-haired boy. Izawa? TSK, and you? Who are you? The green-haired boy showed him the principal's letter. Izawa? I see. Come in. I'll introduce you to the class. Izuku? Wait, you're the teacher? Surprised. Izawa? Is there a problem with that? Activating his quirk, startling the freckled boy a little. Izuku? No. Entering, Izawa made everyone pay attention. Izawa? Silence. Calming everyone down, you'll have a new classmate. Introduce yourself. Izuku? My name is Izuku Midoriya, or as people know me, Izuku the Killer. Making everyone's eyes widen, leaving two people deep in thought. Hey, you're the criminal who could stand up to All Might and Endeavor? A pink-skinned girl asked. Izuku? The one and only. In a deadpan voice, scaring everyone. What's a villain doing here? A boy with glasses and blue hair spoke. Nezu? I can answer your question. Entering the room. Everyone. Principal. Standing up. Nezu? Answering your question, young Lita, I'm here because the League's attacks have become more frequent. So, I ask that you all get along. Well, with your permission, I'll take my leave. He left. Izawa? Alright, sit down. The green-haired boy sat by the window. Izawa gave the class, during which Izuku fell asleep. Everyone stared at him, unable to believe someone like him was there. When it was over, everyone went to the cafeteria, where Izuku sat in a secluded spot so he wouldn't be bothered, or so he thought, since all his new classmates sat with him. So you're the famous killer? A brunette said. Izuku? He didn't pay attention and continued eating. You faced All Might and Endeavor, the best heroes. You have my respect. A redhead said. Izuku? Sighing, you want to leave me alone? With a dry voice that sent a shiver down everyone's spine, they all left except for one ash-blonde boy. Izuku? What do you want? Nothing. He left. After they finished eating, the bell rang and everyone left for their next class. Everyone was talking until Almight entered. Almight. I'm entering like a normal person. Everyone except the green-haired boy. Almight. Almight. Alright, guys, today we'll be doing a practice. He pressed a button, making boxes pop out. Put on your costumes. I'll see you on the field. He left. In the boys' locker room. Mineta. Guys, look. The gods have blessed us. He pointed at a hole. Can I see Momo's breasts or Todoroki's beautiful butt or he drooled, but before he could see, his head slammed against the floor, making a noise. Izuku. What bothers me a little are the perverts. In a cold voice. Meanwhile, with the girls. Momo. Well, I guess we have nothing to worry about. Everyone was in their costumes. Almight. Alright, let's begin, but he was cut off by Iida. Iida. Wait, Izuku's missing. They heard footsteps as they looked towards the tunnel. One of them wore a black hoodie, black pants, and a mask with a smile on his face. Almight. Alright, now that everyone's here, we'll make 2 teams, one of heroes and one of villains, but one of them will have to go alone. Izuku. That'll be me. Almight. Okay. I'll skip the matches until Izuku's. Almight. Alright, the next team will be Katsuki Bakugo and Todoroki Shota against Midoriya Izuku. Everyone was ready, so Almight started the match. Bakugo was the first to fight, creating explosions. He was determined to win, but he was hit by a piece of metal that Izuku had found. Bakugo. TSK. Izuku. Show me what you've got. So Bakugo lunged at him, but the green-haired boy dodged his attacks almost as if he could predict what he would do. Bakugo tried to unleash an explosion, but before he could, Izuku grabbed his hand, diverting the blast towards Todoroki. Bakugo. How do you know what I'm going to do? Izuku. I'm getting bored. Let's fight for real. Annoyingly ash blonde. Bakugo. TSK, let's see if this is up to you. Removing the safety pins. Almight. Young Bakugo, no. But there was simply an explosion, raising a cloud of dust. Shota. What have you done? In a cold tone. Bakugo. I didn't mean to, I thought that, but when it dissipated, nothing was seen, where. But he felt something cold on his neck. Izuku. Too bad. I should have told the principal. He could kill the students. Well, go to sleep. Punching him on the neck, knocking him unconscious. Chapter 3. Izuku. Well, I guess it's just you left. Looking at the bi-colored girl. Shota. Freezing the floor and running towards him. Izuku. So you use an ice quirk. Trying to keep his balance. At that moment, the bi-colored girl punched him, making him stumble back, but he recovered. Then he dodged a spike. Izuku approached at a speed that no one saw except Almight. The freckled boy reversed her, making her break several walls. Then he grabbed her leg and slammed her to the ground. The impact was so hard that it made Shota pass right through it, leaving her unconscious. Everyone was stunned. He defeated them so easily and without any effort. Almight. The winner is Izuku. Izuku. TSK. Pathetic. Getting down to the floor where Shota was, carrying her like a sack of potatoes, as well as the blonde boy, and taking them outside. Almight. Well done, young Izu. But he didn't finish because the freckled boy simply walked past him. Izuku. Where's the infirmary? Looking at Kaminari. Kaminari. This po by all, fearfully pointing the way. Izuku didn't say anything else and left. After a few minutes he arrived. Upon entering, he encountered an old woman. Izuku. And who are you? My name is Recovery Girl. Izuku. I didn't think UA was a nursing home. Being hit with a cane. Izuku. Ouch. Why was that? Recovery. Didn't they teach you to respect your elders? Angrily. Izuku. Whatever, I brought you this. Throwing the bi-colored girl and the ash blonde boy to the ground, being hit again. Izuku. Ouch. Rubbing his head, why was that? Angrily. Recovery. Don't throw them like that. Now pick them up and put them on the cots. Izuku. You're lucky I made a deal, old woman. Being hit again. Recovery. I heard that. So the freckled boy picked them up and put them on the cots, leaving. After a few hours, Shota waking up. Oh, what happened? Rubbing his head. Recovery. You had practice and you and your partner ended up here. Shota. And how did I get here? Recovery. Your partner brought you. Shota. My partner? Confused. Recovery. That's right. Shota. And who was he? Getting up from the stretcher. Recovery. I don't know. He had a mask and a hood covering his face, although that boy wasn't polite. Remembering him. Shota. How long was I unconscious? Recovery. 5 hours. Surprising the bi-colored girl, then leaving. Shota was walking to her room since classes had ended, but in the hallways, she ran into Izuku. He jumped out of a window, so Shota ran to see if he was okay, but she couldn't find him, which she found strange. Then she heard the sound of a car. The bi-colored girl was left thinking about what she saw. Meanwhile, Izuku was driving his new car, cruising around the city, running red lights. He parked in an abandoned lot, got out, and started looking for something. Izuku said, "Oh, my baby." Picking up a knife, "I thought I'd never see you again." He approached a broken mirror, removed his mask, and lowered his hood, revealing a white face, burned eyelids, and a dazzling smile that betrayed his madness. He put his knife away and got back in his car, wanting to see how he changed while in prison. He passed an alley where he saw a woman being assaulted. He got out of the car, pulling up his hood so he wouldn't be recognized. Subject 1. Holding the girl, "Shut up." He was going to slap him, but his hand was grabbed by the freckled boy. "Hey, and who are you?" Breaking free. Subject 2. Didn't your parents tell you it's dangerous to walk the streets at night? Appearing behind. Subject 4. Hey brat, you shouldn't have meddled in other people's business. Subject 3. Haha, you'd better give us all your money. Izuku. Smiling, "You know what? I'll give you 10 minutes. If you can touch me in that time, I'll leave you alone and you can go back to what you were doing." Subject 1. And if not, what then? Izuku. You'll find out soon enough. So the 4 subjects lunged at the green-haired boy, who dodged them. One pulled out a knife and tried to stab him, but he grabbed his hand and made him stab his companion, who screamed in pain. Izuku. Well, the 10 minutes are up. Too bad. But he received a blow to the face that knocked him to the ground. Then they removed his hood and everyone was horrified to see his face. Izuku. Hahaha, don't you think I'm beautiful? Subject 1. Why you're, but he didn't finish because his throat was cut. Izuku. Go to sleep, thus launching himself towards the others. In the alley, only screams of pain and agony could be heard. When it was all over, it was a scene straight out of a horror movie. The disemboweled bodies of the subjects showed that their eyes had been ripped out, leaving only empty sockets and a smile drawn on their faces. The green-haired boy was bathed in the blood of his victims. Then he approached the girl who was hiding. Girl. PP please don't kill me, scared while letting some tears fall. Izuku. But he sees that she dropped a photo where she was with her family, causing a small fragment to reach the green-haired boy. TSK, whatever, I'm done here anyway, thus leaving. He got into his car and headed towards the academy, but on the way he saw that he had a collar, thus stopping the car abruptly. Izuku. Damn it, angry, damn animal. Meanwhile, at UA, in the principal's office, Nezu was signing some papers until Nezu. Achoo, I think someone mentioned me. Returning to his own business. Back with Izuku, he changed course towards a place where, upon entering, the people there recognized him and began to murmur. The green-haired boy simply walked past and entered a house if you could even call it that could barely stand upright. It was a miracle it hadn't collapsed yet. Chapter 4. Upon entering the house, he saw a man approaching him. Izuku. It's been a long time. He caught the man's attention, who was surprised to see him, so he ran and hugged him. Man. Izuku. I thought I'd never see you again. But how did you escape? Izuku. TSK, I didn't escape. Man. Huh. What are you talking about? Izuku. I joined UA to protect the future heroes, who, by the way, are all useless. He sat on the floor. Man. I see. He looked at the necklace. Hey, what's that thing you're carrying? Izuku. This is preventing me from activating my quirk and I wanted to know. Man. If I could remove it. He nodded. Well, let me see. He looked at the necklace, went to a corner, and took out some tools. Several hours passed and they couldn't remove the necklace. Man. I'm sorry, Izuku, but I can't. He threw down a screwdriver. Izuku. Damn it. He stood up. Well, thanks anyway. He started to leave, but was stopped. Man. I'm glad you're back, Izuku. The green-haired boy didn't say anything else and left. Upon arriving at UA, he decided to take a bath to wash off the blood. He also washed his clothes. After a few minutes, he got out and looked at himself in the mirror. He stared for several minutes until he decided to go to sleep. Izuku. TSK, what the hell happened? Trying to remember his past, but it seemed to be blocked. He didn't dwell on it and went to sleep. The next morning, he woke up, got dressed, and hid his knife, heading to his classroom. When he entered, everyone fell silent and stared at him, but he didn't pay them any attention. He simply decided to look out the window. Just then, Aizawa entered. Aizawa. Alright, everyone's here. He seized the door. You can come in. Now. 3 people entered, and everyone was surprised except Izuku. Aida. What are the big 3 doing here? Well, we came to see how you've progressed. A blonde man spoke, then saw Izuku. Wow, you must be the new one. let me introduce myself. My name is Tagada Mirio, extending his hand. But being knocked down by a light blue-haired girl. Hello, my name is Hato Najire. Hey, why are you covering your face? Why are you wearing that mask? Who are you? What's your name? But she was pulled away by a black-haired boy. Izuku. Thinking, what a strange girl. At that moment, Mirio gets up again. Mirio. Excuse my classmate, she's just very curious. Well, the black-haired boy is Amajiki Tamaki. Izawa. Well, put on your uniforms and I'll see you on the field. Thus leaving. After a while, everyone was ready. Mirio. Alright, show me everything you've got. Give it your all. Encouraging everyone. So everyone charged forward while Izuku was analyzing his opponents. He saw Mirio disappear and reappear, striking 2 students, surprising the green-haired boy who thought his quirk was teleportation. After a few minutes, everyone was unconscious except for Izuku. Izuku. Wow, I see you're strong. By the way, what's your quirk? Passing through the unconscious bodies of the class. Mirio. My quirk allows me to pass through anything. Izuku. Smiling, thanks, that's what I wanted to hear. Finishing his analysis. Just then, Mirio appeared in front of him, but Izuku managed to dodge, surprising Najire and Tamaki. Izuku tried to land a blow, but it was impossible. Then he received a punch that sent him crashing into the wall. The impact was so strong that it broke the necklace the green-haired boy was wearing. Izuku. Getting up, his eyes turned blood red, Seeing that the necklace was broken, haha, now it's my turn. Najire. Don't you think you overdid it a bit? Mirio. Sorry, I got carried away. But he didn't finish because he was sent flying against the wall, breaking it along with several others, leaving him unconscious. Najire and Tamaki were surprised when they saw Izuku standing where Mirio had been. Izuku. Too bad, I can't stand it. Dodging a slingshot from Najire. At that moment, Tamaki transformed her arms into octopuses and Najire flew, throwing slingshots at him, which he dodged. Then Tamaki threw a tentacle at him, which Izuku used to propel himself towards Najire, grabbing his leg and pulling him towards the ground, crashing to the ground. But he was caught in midair. The green-haired boy moved, trying to break free. He grabbed his knife and cut the tentacles, making the black-haired boy scream in pain. He fell where Najire was and lifted her up, making her look at him. His mask fell off, making her see him like that. She was scared and started screaming as if she had Izuku saw a demon. Sorry, but it's time for you to sleep. He grabbed her head and slammed it against the floor, knocking her unconscious. Then he went to Tamaki and stabbed him in the leg, forcing him to his knees. He then put his knife to Tamaki's throat. Tamaki. I give up. She screamed in fear. Before Izuku could cut her throat, he was grabbed by Izawa's bandages. Izawa. That's enough. The green-haired boy calmed down. Izuku. TSK, whatever. He grabbed his mask and left. Everyone was surprised that he managed to defeat the big 3, but they all had one question. What did Najire see that scared her so much? At the end of the day, everyone was in the living room watching a movie, except for Shota, until the green-haired boy entered. Everyone stared at him, that question swirling in their heads. But one ash-blonde boy couldn't stand it anymore and decided to confront him. Akugu. Hey Izuku, trying to get his attention, but he was ignored. Akugu. Don't ignore me, pulling off his hood, everyone was shocked to see him. He was white as paper, had no eyelids, and his eyes were bloodshot with lust. Bakugu took 2 steps back. Izuku. Damn it, taking off his mask, scaring everyone, I don't think the principal cares if I kill 2 or 3 of you, licking his knife. If they were scared before, now they were horrified. Some couldn't take it and fainted, but those who weren't were trembling. Luckily for them, Izawa arrived, who felt fear upon seeing him but decided to speak seriously. Izawa. Now go to your rooms, and in the blink of an eye, no one was there. Izuku. Hahaha, laughing maniacally. And so the green-haired boy went back outside and murdered the people he encountered, leaving disemboweled bodies in his wake. Chapter 5. The next morning, the students were traumatized by what they had seen. When Izuku entered the classroom, everyone began to tremble. Even Bakugu couldn't calm down, as his trembling hand betrayed him. When Shota entered, he saw that everyone was scared, but he didn't pay much attention and took his seat. Classes passed peacefully, well, only for Izuku. But he had a question that kept nagging at him, so he decided to go to the principal's office. He knocked on the door and heard her come in. Nezu entered. Oh, young Izuku, what do you need? Izuku. Principal, I want to see my file. Surprising the principal. Nezu. And can I know why? Izuku. I want to know about my past. I don't remember much about my family or what happened to me, so I want to see my file. Nezu. I'm sorry, young man, but I can't give it to you. Izuku. And can I know why? Nezu. That's not within my reach, but he didn't finish because the green-haired boy slammed his fist on the desk and left the office. He started walking aimlessly through the hallways. Someone decided to go buy some new clothes since the ones he had were a bit torn. So he got in his car and headed to the mall. When he arrived, he was surprised to find that some of the stores were gone. They had been remodeled. He decided to wander around for a while until he came to a place that caught his attention. It was a rather strange store, so he went inside and found himself face to face with a man. Man. Hey kid, what do you want? Izuku. Nothing, just passing by. Man. I see you're a knife fanatic. Izuku. Huh. How so? Man. Because of the knife you have hidden in your sweatshirt. Surprising the freckled boy, he grabbed him to kill him, but before he could do anything, the man spoke. Relax, I don't plan on calling the police. I know someone who's been released from prison. Izuku. Who are you? Man. Nobody important. Would you let me see it? Izuku didn't know whether to give him his knife, but he wanted to see how far this would go, so he handed it over. Man. Wow, it's light. It seems its edge is dulling. Tell me, kid, what do you think about buying a new one? Izuku. A new one? Curiously. So the guy took out a key and put it in a hidden hatch in the floor, pulling out a briefcase and 2 guitar cases. When he opened them, there were all kinds of knives. The briefcase had everything from pocket knives to kitchen knives, and the cases had machetes and katanas, surprising him. Come on, try one. So the freckled boy took one similar to his knife and was surprised that it was a little heavier and its edge was perfect. I see you like that one. Closing everything, it's perfect for your work. Izuku. And how much does it cost? It's a gift. Izuku. Really? Okay. He left the store and when he was outside he heard something. Man. It's the least I can do for an old friend. Izuku. Huh. Turning around, he found the store empty. He didn't care much and continued on his way. He had bought his clothes, so he prepared to leave. He saw that it was raining, so he went to his car. When he returned to his car, he found Shota, but she was surrounded by several men. Man 1. Hello, beautiful. Approaching her a little. Man 2. Why are you all alone? Man 3. How about you come with us? You know, it's dangerous for you to go alone. Shota. Why don't you just leave? She said seriously. Man 4. Wow, I think we have a tough girl. Here. But then they all heard the sound of a car, so they turned around and saw the freckled boy get into the car. Man 4. Hey, you two, don't let her go. He said to 2 other men. So they went and stood in front of the green-haired boy, blocking him. One of them approached and tapped on the window. Man 5 said, nice car, buddy. Hey, why don't you get out? Pointing a gun at him. So Izuku got out. They grabbed him and took him to where Shota was. Man 6 asked, well, what are you going to do now? Man 1 replied, well, it doesn't matter. How about we take her and have some fun? Looking lustfully at Shota. Izuku said, well, then I have nothing to do here. Wanting to leave, but was stopped. Man 4 said, don't act tough, buddy. Izuku replied, I hate people like you. And in the blink of an eye, he had killed 2. Man 3 said, what the hell? He didn't finish because his head had been ripped off. Izuku said, this knife is really great. And in less than a minute, he had killed everyone. Shota was in shock at seeing such carnage. Then a lightning bolt struck, making the bi-colored girl see the green-haired boy's face. Then she saw him slowly moving away, but she faced him and froze his feet. Izuku. Looking at the bi-colored girl, what are you doing? Shota. What you did was wrong, and I'm stopping you. But he only hears her start laughing, teasing her, what's so funny? Izuku. And tell me, how do you plan to do that? Do you plan to freeze me? Please don't make me laugh. You wouldn't even be able to touch me. Enraging Shota, who threw an ice pick at him, but then another lightning bolt struck and all she saw was him standing in front of her. Izuku. It would be a shame if I died here. With his knife at her neck, how about we pretend none of this happened? Okay. Receiving a nod and then another lightning bolt struck and the green-haired boy was in the same spot where the bi-colored girl had frozen him. Izuku. Seeing that the rain had worsened and he didn't know why, but he felt guilty, hey, sighing, do you want me to take you? Shota. Seeing that the rain wouldn't stop, fine, but don't try anything. So the two got into the car and started their journey to UA. Nobody said anything, so Izuku decided to speak. Izuku. Sorry for starting off on the wrong foot. How about we start over? My name is Izuku Midoriya. Extending his hand. Shota Todoroki. Shaking his hand. Chapter 6. Upon arriving at UA, the two entered and went to their dormitories. The green-haired boy, as usual, woke up remembering fragments of his past, while the bi-colored girl stared at the ceiling, recalling the look he'd worn when he killed those guys. It was as if he'd enjoyed it. His name seemed to be familiar to her, long before he was recognized as the world's greatest assassin, but she didn't dwell on it. The next morning, Aizawa told them they would be going to a training camp, so they all boarded the bus. No one sat with Izuku. They arrived where the Hussycats were waiting for them. They greeted everyone but became a little serious upon seeing Izuku undergoing training, just like in the original story, except Izuku had arrived much earlier than the others. As night fell, the green-haired boy wandered aimlessly. He climbed a tree and reached the top, gazing at the moon. He heard a noise and became alert, while the others were fighting as the villains began their attack. Izuku was about to climb down the tree when he saw a child. Wearing a cap and still muscular, Izuku didn't pay much attention to him, but then he heard Koda yell for help. Something inside Izuku told him he had to help him. As Izuku climbed down the tree, a feeling of remorse overwhelmed him until he decided to help him. Just as Muscular was about to deliver a blow that could have killed the boy. Muscular said, "Huh?" looking at the hooded figure. Izuku said, "Wow, it's been a long time, hasn't it?" making a little force in Muscular's fist. Muscular said, surprised, "I can't be." laughing like a maniac. Koda, seeing that the boy he had seen before was helping him, said, "WW, what do you think you're doing? He'll kill us." Yelling at him. Izuku said, "Shut up and leave." He said it coldly. Muscular said, "He's right, kid. Get out of here." Moving back a little and preparing to attack. Koda said, "Stop playing the hero. Don't you see you'll only get yourself killed?" Angry. Izuku said, "Hero? Haha, you're wrong. I'm not a hero, kid. Do you think this is what a hero does?" Showing his face, leaving the boy terrified, "Now go away." The boy ran away. Muscular. "So we'll finally finish this, won't we, Izuku?" Making his muscles grow, Izuku. "You're right, Muscular. Although, if I remember correctly, you almost died, didn't you?" Flashback. We see Izuku entering an abandoned building where, upon entering, he found some dead bodies. He followed the corpses, encountering a man killing another with a single blow. Then he noticed Izuku's presence. A brat. Never mind, you'll die too." Running towards him, but when he was about to hit him, the freckled boy dodged. Wow, you have good reflexes. Izuku. So your quirk allows you to increase your muscle mass. Jumping back to dodge another attack. "Who are you, brat?" Izuku. Pulling off his hood, "I'm Izuku." His smile widening, "So you're the famous assassin everyone's talking about." Izuku. "Let me guess, you're a fan of mine." Mockingly, "And tell me, what's your name?" "Call me Muscular." Getting ready for a fight. Izuku. Fine, Muscular. Try not to scream when I kill you." Licking his knife. The two charged at each other, with Izuku easily dodging Muscular's blows until he landed a punch that sent him crashing through several walls. Muscular. "Hahaha, don't tell me you're already dead." Going to where Izuku was. Meanwhile, the green-haired boy was buried under a pile of rubble until he pulled out his hand and slowly got up, spitting blood. Izuku. "Tsk, you wretch." Thus, hiding. When Muscular arrived, he didn't find him, only a little blood, assuming he had killed him. But the green-haired boy fell from above, grabbing his back and stabbing him, making Muscular scream in pain. Muscular increased his muscle mass to break the freckled boy's knife, but it didn't. Instead, Muscular slammed his back against a wall, making Izuku break free. Muscular. You're interesting, Izuku, pressing on his wound. Izuku. Hahaha, same here, but it's time to sleep. And in the blink of an eye, the green-haired boy disappeared from Muscular's sight, and the only thing he remembers is being embedded in a wall. Muscular, thinking. How did I not even see him move? Is that his quirk? Out of his mind. Izuku had grabbed Muscular's arm and dislocated it, making him scream in pain, but Muscular managed to land a blow that sent him flying out of the building, thus escaping. Izuku. Tsk, he got away. But he was surrounded. By Almight, Endeavor, and several police officers. Izuku's mind. Damn it, I shouldn't have been so confident. Tsk, I'll have to buy some time to recover. Outside of Izuku's mind. We see Izuku kill a police officer and take his stun grenade, which he uses to escape. Then flashback. Izuku. If it weren't for you, they wouldn't have put me in Tartaros. Muscular. Well, let the fight begin. Thus, launching themselves into a fight where every blow they landed was deadly, it was incredible to see the clash of power. Muscular was winning, but little by little, Izuku was adapting to the combat. Izuku managed to plunge his knife into Mucular's abdomen, but Mucular took advantage of their proximity, delivering a blow that sent him flying through several trees in the area. Koda was running with all his might, but he saw something white crash into the trees. He didn't know what to do, but then he saw Muscular go after him. Kota mustered his courage and went after him too. Izuku. Spitting out a large amount of blood. Muscular. Come on, kid, don't hold back, but he fell silent, seeing a stream of blood coming from his arm. Izuku. Were you saying something? Muscular. But how? Then he remembered when he hit him. In those few seconds, Izuku had pulled out his knife and used the force of the impact to open a large wound. Chapter 7. Muscular. You're amazing, trying to stop the bleeding. Izuku. You too. He, recovering from the wound he got, Izuku and Muscular stared at each other. Izuku. Muscular. Tonight one of us will die, looking at each other with psychopathic eyes and a sick smile. So the two launched themselves where their fists impacted, creating a shockwave that caused some trees to fall and some leaves to rise. Neither one retreated, both enjoying the moment, the adrenaline flooding them. They continued like this for a few minutes until, in a moment of carelessness, Izuku cut Muscular's throat, all under the watchful eye of Kota. Muscular. Clutching his throat as his muscles diminished, he approached Izuku and whispered, "Th thank you, thank you for giving me the best fight, falling dead." Kota. Why you're an ace killer, scared. Izuku. I saved you, no, don't make me regret it, brat, seeing the destruction, well, kid, your aunt was looking for you, so, picking him up and carrying him like a sack of potatoes. Kota. Hey, let me go, while hitting his back. After a few hours, everyone had gathered, some were injured. Mandalay. Kota, distraught. But then she saw Izuku come out of the trees carrying the boy, running towards him. Mandalay. Kota, running towards them under everyone's watchful gaze. Izuku put the boy on the ground, who had a pout and was embarrassed by the way the freckled boy was carrying him. Mandalay. Kota, are you okay? Hugging him. Kota. Auntie, I can't breathe, since Mandalay was hugging him tightly. Mandalay. I'm sorry, and tell me, did he do anything to you? Becoming serious. Kota. I don't know Izuku, he saved me. Izuku was walking, but little by little his vision began to fail. Izuku. Damn it, he said in a whisper. Izawa. Are you okay? Seeing that he was covered in blood. Izuku. Why yes, it's nothing, continuing to walk, but after a few meters he collapsed. Izawa. Hey. Catching him. The last thing he could see was being lifted from the floor. After a few hours, the green-haired boy had woken up and had several bandages and saw the child he had saved earlier sleeping in a chair. Izuku. Holding his head, where am I? At that moment he saw Mandalay enter. Mandalay. Well, I see you're awake. Izuku. What happened? Mandalay. You fainted, taking out some pills. You had a pretty serious wound. It's lucky you're still alive. Here, take this for the pain. Izuku. I don't need it, starting to remove the bandages. Mandalay. Thank you for saving my nephew, stroking his head. Kota, who was sleeping, can I ask you a question? Izuku. Finishing removing all the sails, it depends. Mandalay. How did you end up being a murderer? Izuku. I don't know. He hesitated and wanted to leave, but was stopped. Mandalay. Can I ask you one last question? Receiving a nod, what do you think your parents will think of you? Making the green-haired boy's eyes widen. Izuku. I don't know and I don't care. Thus leaving, he continued walking with his head down, not looking when he passed in front of a bi-colored girl who stared at him. The green-haired boy went into the forest and there he let out a heart-wrenching scream, falling to his knees. Izuku. Who the hell am I? What happened to me before? Hitting his head against the ground until blood started to flow from his forehead, but he felt a hand on his shoulder, seeing Shota. Shota. Hey, are you okay? Trying to sound worried, but she couldn't manage it. Izuku. He didn't answer. Then he received a hug from the bi-colored girl. They stayed like that. For several minutes until the green-haired boy separated, he stood up and walked away before disappearing into the darkness of the forest. He turned around. Izuku. Thank you. Giving her a sincere smile, causing a small fragment to pass through the mind of the bi-colored girl, seeing a child with that smile, but when she looked back at Izuku, he was gone. The next morning, everyone was fine and training except for Izuku. He couldn't get Mandalay's question out of his mind. What do you think your parents will think of you? So he decided that when he returned to UA, he would investigate what happened to his past during the time he spent with the hussy cats. He also occasionally talked to Kota since the boy followed him from a distance, thus forming a small friendship between them. He also formed a friendship with Shota, helping him activate his fire side since she told him she had 2 quirks. She also told him to visit his mother. When the day came to return to UA, Kota was sad, so Izuku approached her. Izuku. Why? Are you sad, Kota? Kota. It's just that you're leaving. He said somewhat sadly. Izuku. Put a smile on your face, okay? He put his fingers to the little boy's lips and drew a smile on his face. This isn't goodbye, but see you later. He ruffled Koda's hair and went to the bus. Before getting on, he heard. Koda. I promised to come visit you. He smiled and waved his hand. Izuku gestured with his hand and got on the bus. Several hours passed, and no one knew if Izuku was asleep or awake, since he didn't have eyelids. Upon arriving, everyone went to their rooms to rest, while Izuku spent the entire night searching for something related to his past. Meanwhile, in the bi-colored girl's room, she couldn't get that smile out of her mind. She had seen that smile before. The next morning, the students were given a week off because the dorms were going to be remodeled. The students took advantage of this time to go shopping or relax, while Shota mustered up the courage to visit his mother, thus rebuilding the bond between mother and daughter. Izuku was in his room, continuing his investigation, trying to find something. He asked Nezu for help, but Nezu refused to give any information, further annoying the freckled boy. Then, just as he was about to turn off his computer, he had a flashback to a house burning down. So, he searched the internet for fires from 10 years ago and found his own house. Izuku. It can't be. Surprised. Chapter 8. Izuku. It can't be, surprised. Arson after the fight between the number 1 villain and the symbol of peace. Sadly, several lost their lives in the battle. A family tried to escape their home, but it was set ablaze by the villain. Only one survivor was found. The green-haired boy was in shock. Then a flashback appeared. We see little Izuku celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Izuku, said the green-haired woman. I'm so happy for you, champ, said the white-haired boy. Izuku. Thank you, hugging them, I love you both so much. That same night, the sounds of sirens were heard, waking little Izuku. Huh. Then his parents entered his room and picked him up. What's happening? We have to get out of here fast, said his father, but when they went downstairs they saw that fire blocked the exit. And now what do we do? Said his mother. The father was trying to figure out what to do. The fire was slowly spreading. Inko, let's go to the bathroom, taking the green-haired girl's hand. Now identified as Inko. The three ran to take refuge in the bathroom, but the ceiling collapsed, causing Izuku to let go. Inko. Izuku, worried, wanting to go for her son, but her husband wouldn't let her. Hisashi, let me go. Hisashi. Inko, stay here. I'll go for Izuku. Going into a room, opening the window, and trying to reach the window, he managed to get inside. He saw that the doors of a cupboard where they kept the cleaning products had opened, and there was a tremor that caused the products to fall on Izuku. Since he was near the fire, he caught fire. Hisashi. Izuku. Quickly entering, he grabbed some sheets and wrapped the little boy in them. He had fainted from the pain. Hisashi. Izuku, seeing that he had only fainted, it's okay, son, dad is here. The house shook again. So Hisashi climbed out the window again until he reached Izuku. Inko was in the bathroom when they arrived. They both closed the door. Inko. Izuku, seeing that he was wrapped in sheets. Hisashi. Calm down, he's fine. Just then, smoke started seeping in under the door and they were both coughing, gasping for air. Hisashi. Inko, thank you for making me the happiest man in the world and giving me a family. Inko. I'm glad I met you, putting her head against Hisashi's. Then they both saw Izuku. Hisashi. Inko. We love you, Izuku. Just then, the ceiling collapsed on top of them. After a few hours, the heroes and firefighters arrived at the scene. Firefighter 1. Look for survivors. Almost 24 hours passed as they searched the area affected by the firefight. Some firefighters searched near a house and saw a hand. Firefighter 2. Here. His colleagues approached, managing to remove the rubble and finding 2 green-haired boys and a white-haired boy. The firefighter approached to see if they were alive until the white-haired boy grabbed his arm, startling him. Hisashi. PPP please my son, weakly. The firefighter grabbed the small boy, who was pale. Hisashi. CC take care of him please, closing his eyes. Firefighter 2. Hey, sir, moving him, but it was too late. Thus, they pulled the small green-haired boy out, who opened his eyes to see a house burning, being fought by the firefighters. Then flashback. Izuku. No, it can't be, in shock. Meanwhile, the bi-colored girl was at home talking to her mother. Ray. So tell me, Shota, what's made you change so much? Shota. It's nothing. In his monotone voice, but if you looked closely, he had a slight blush. Ray. Smiling, and tell me, what's his name? Shota. Huh. Confused. Ray. I know that look. Just then, Fayumi, who had overheard everything, entered. Fayumi. Hugging Shota, my little sister is in love. Making the bi-colored girl blush. Shota. And no. Covering her face. Ray. And tell us, daughter, what's his name? Shota. Izuku. Ray. Thinking about being noticed by her daughters. Fayumi. Mom, are you okay? Ray. Yes, it's just that I've heard that name before. Shota. He's the famous killer, Izuku the killer. Surprising them both, making Fayumi smile. Fayumi. You fell in love with a killer. It's like forbidden love. And tell me, what's his real name? Shota. Izuku Midoriya. Ray. Wait, did you say Midoriya? Calling the girl's attention. Shota. Yeah, is there a problem? Questioningly. Ray. No, it's just that taking a photo album, you were always talking about that boy. Fayumi. Now that you mention it, it's true. Shota was always talking about him, saying he was cute and kind. Tapping her chin. Shota. I don't remember. Fayumi. That's because you were very young. Ray. Here he is. Is that him? Pointing to a photo of a green-haired boy laughing next to a bi-colored girl, making Shota's eyes widen because it was the same smile the freckled boy had given her. Shota. That's right. Ray. Wow, I thought I'd never see him again. Shota. What do you mean? Ray. Well, you see, you met him when. Flashback. The bi-colored girl can be seen holding her mother's hand. They had arrived at a park where the little girl went to play, but she was being bothered by the other children. They were about to hit her when a green-haired boy stood in front of her. Don't touch her. Boy 1. Well, look who we have here. Boy 2. It's the one without a quirk. NNOWW I won't let them hurt her. A little scared. Boy 1. Oh yeah? And what are you going to do to us, huh? So the children started hitting the little green-haired boy, then retreated. Shota. Hey, are you okay? Helping the green-haired boy up. Why yes and no, it's and nothing. Smiling. Shota. Thanks for saving me. You're welcome, that's what heroes do. By the way, my name is Izuku Midoriya. Shota. Shota Todoroki. Izuku. Shota WW do you want to be my friend? Shota. Yes. Happily. So the two little boys they spent their time playing until their parents called them. Then flashback. Shota was surprised since she had known Izuku since she was little. Shota. And what happened? Ray. Well, his house burned down and he was the only survivor. Then he disappeared as if the earth had swallowed him. You looked everywhere for him, but you couldn't find him. Remembering that Shota cried at night when she couldn't find the green-haired boy. It was time for the bi-colored girl to leave and she was happy to finally remember the green-haired boy. At that moment, those strange feelings returned. When she arrived, she simply saw Izuku running. Shota. Izuku. But she saw that the green-haired boy got into his car and drove off, several heroes following behind him. Chapter 9. Minutes earlier, the green-haired boy was in his room destroying everything. He was angry, and a thirst for revenge was slowly taking hold of him. Izuku. You'll pay for this, Almight. He grabbed his knife and left, not caring about the principal, and went into the office. Nezu. Young Izuku, but before he could finish, the green-haired boy grabbed him and slammed him against the wall. Izuku. Why? Angrily. Nezu. Confused, but saw the green-haired boy start to choke him. Izuku. Why didn't you tell me that Almight was responsible for my parents' death? Leaving the bullfighter in shock. Nezu. Izuku, I'm serious. Speaking with difficulty. Izuku. That's why you didn't want to give me my documents. What are you hiding from me the most? Nezu. Taking out some keys and pointing to a drawer, Izuku let go of him and went to the drawer. I look for his documents, finding them and starting to read them. Izuku Midoriya adopted by. Quirk. None. Age. 5 years old. Starting to read what he already knew. Izuku. Who adopted me? Nezu. I don't know. Who adopted you never gave us their real name. Izuku. What's the name of the villain who fought All Might? Without taking his eyes off the papers. Nezu. I'm sorry, but I can't tell you, but he saw a knife being thrown towards him, stabbing him just centimeters from his face, All for One. The villain's name is All for One. Scared. Izuku. Throwing the papers. Nezu. Izuku, but he didn't finish because the green-haired boy grabbed him, don't do something you regret. But he only saw a look of madness, hatred, and revenge. Izuku. I never regret anything. Stabbing him in the stomach, making Nezu let out a groan of pain. At that moment, Aizawa enters, and All Might. Aizawa. Principal, but the green-haired boy knocked the principal's body away and ran off. All Might. Principal, don't worry, applying pressure to the wound. Nezu. To Toshinori HELH nose, leaving the blonde boy in shock, but he saw the little rodent close his eyes. Aizawa ran after the freckled boy, as did other teachers who arrived after hearing a scream. The green-haired boy only had one thought. He would kill Afo. Almight, while escaping, saw the bi-colored girl enter. He slid down the hood of his car, climbed in, and fled his crime scene. Izuku lost them when he entered a tunnel. For now, he needed to hide, so he went to the only place he knew. Upon arriving, he entered the house where he surprised the guy. Izuku, what are you doing here? Izuku. He ignored him and walked past him, but was stopped. Izuku, what happened? Izuku. The thing is, I remembered everything. Surprising the guy. Subject. So you already know. Heading to a corner. Izuku. Yes, wait, you knew? Subject. Pulling out a trunk. Izuku. And why is that? Confused. Subject. Opening the trunk and walking away, the green-haired boy approached the trunk. You were adopted by my friend. Sitting in an armchair, lighting a cigarette and picking up a bottle. Subject. I accompanied him. We both visited you in the hospital. When we saw you, you were all white. The doctors couldn't explain it. Taking the bottle, you were in shock. You didn't say anything for a week. My friend visited you frequently. Sometimes he even left work to visit you. You had become very close to him. Giving a nostalgic smile, he decided to adopt you. He couldn't use his real name. Izuku. Huh. And why? Subject. I don't know. He never told me. When I asked him, he just said he didn't want to remember his past. He tried everything to make you smile again, and every night he would read you a story and say, Izuku. Go to sleep, remembering those moments. Subject. That's right, I always told you that you had to have a smile. Izuku. And what happened to him? Subject. He passed away. One day you had told him to give you a ride, that his job was like that, so he did. They had received a report of a fire, so you went with him. It was a house on fire. He told you to wait in the car, but the house slowly began to collapse, and you decided to go inside to help him. I went after you to stop you, but when I arrived, I saw that my friend was being stabbed by two men. They were the ones who started the fire, and it seemed their mission was to kill the man in that house. You grabbed a knife that was just inches from you and killed those guys. I went over to help my friend, and with his last bit of strength, he told you, Izuku, don't forget to always show a smile. Izuku. What happened next? Subject. I don't know. The house had collapsed. When I woke up, I was outside, and you weren't there. Everyone thought you were dead, except me. Izuku. Remembering that he woke up in an abandoned house with a knife stained with blood, so he saw himself in a small puddle of water, and a smile appeared on his face. Man. What will you do now? Izuku. I don't know. I lost my parents and I lost my adoptive father. I have nothing left. He wept, shocking the man who had never seen him cry before, approaching and hugging him. Man. You will never be alone. Handing him a piece of paper, follow your heart. Then he left the place, leaving the green-haired boy alone. Izuku was undecided about what to do. He turned on a television and the news came on. News report. Breaking news. It appears that the infamous killer Izuku the Killer, a picture of him is shown, murdered the principal of the prestigious UA Academy. The heroes pursued him to a tunnel where they apparently lost his trail. All the heroes are searching for him to capture him. If you see him or know where he might be, please inform the authorities. Also, the symbol of peace, Almight, said that he is very dangerous and that there will be a reward for information leading to his whereabouts. Well, that's the news for today. Don't forget, but the freckled boy turned off the TV. Izuku. Damn it, now I have to be more careful. He lay down on a broken and worn-out couch and slept a little. Chapter 10. The next morning, the news continued, and several agents, acting as heroes, were searching for the green-haired boy for the principal's murder. Meanwhile, at UA, the students were sad. Some were angry, wondering how they could bring in a killer, and not just any killer, but one who had terrorized the city for years. A small boy didn't know how to feel. He knew the boy was a murderer, but he didn't know what to think. He decided to approach the girl with the two-toned hair to ask her some questions. The girl with the two-toned hair wanted answers. Her mind was confused. She kept asking herself the same questions. Why did he do it? Did he have an intention? If so, what was it? To cause chaos? To be recognized again? So many questions overwhelmed the girl with the two-toned hair. No one would let anyone into the principal's office, but she waited until everyone had left or the students were asleep. Then she froze the lock, making it easy to enter. She searched everywhere but found nothing. All the evidence had been taken away by the heroes and authorities. She was about to give up when she tripped over a stick and fell. Under a sofa, she saw some papers, so she picked them up and was about to open them. Until she heard footsteps, alarmed, she decided to leave through the window. With the help of her ice quirk, she climbed to the rooftop. Once there, she went to her room. Upon arriving, she took out the document she had found and began to read. What she found left her petrified. He had lost his parents. She also saw that it was because of a fight Almight had against his enemy, the number 1 villain. She spent all night reading Izuku's files. In the morning, the green-haired boy woke up and decided to head to the underworld to collect some favors. He arrived where several men were drinking. Man 1. Hey, what do you want, kid? Izuku. I want to see your boss. Man 2. Sorry, but the boss is busy. You'd better leave and come back tomorrow. Izuku. I'm in a hurry. He walked past, but a man grabbed his shoulder. Man 1. Didn't you hear him? But he didn't finish because he felt something pierce his stomach. It was the green-haired boy who had stabbed him. The freckled boy took out his. He stabbed him again with a knife, this time harder, killing him. Everyone became alert and drew their weapons, but a voice stopped them. Boss. Halt right there. Looking at Izuku, it's been a long time. Come on, follow me. You bleed the body dry. He then withdrew, followed by Izuku, while the others carried their friend's dead body. The two walked until they reached his office. Boss. So tell me, Izuku, what brings you here? Lighting a cigarette. Izuku. I want to collect on the favor you owe me. Boss. And what is it you want? Izuku. How many explosives can you get me in 6 days? Boss. Enough to blow up 2 skyscrapers. Why? Interested. Now, who's your prey? Izuku. I'm going to kill the symbol of peace, causing the guy to drop his cigarette. Boss. Are you insane? In shock. Izuku. I'm just going to take care of some personal business. By the way, I need some information. Boss. Information. Still in shock. Izuku. Do you know someone named Afo? Making the guy tremble at the mere mention of it. Izuku. Oh, so you do know him. Smiling, giving him a demented look. Boss. And then no, don't tell me that, receiving a nod, it's suicide. Why would you want to know where he is? Izuku. Just tell me, do you have any information on him? Boss. Shaking his head, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about him. The only thing I know is that he's the founder of the League of Villains. Izuku. Well, send the shipment here. Giving him an address and turning to leave, but before he could go, he was stopped. Boss. What you're doing is a suicide, are you sure you want to walk into the lion's den? Izuku. Izuku. I'm not afraid of anything. The ones who should be afraid are All Might and Afo, thus leaving. The green-haired boy spent all day trying to get information about the League or about the villain, but whenever people heard the number 1 villain's name, they simply didn't respond, frustrating him a little. Back at UA, the bi-colored girl had dark circles under her eyes since she had spent the whole night reading the green-haired boy's files from beginning to end. She had also contacted Kota, telling him what happened. Classes went by normally. At night, the bi-colored girl had a feeling and headed to a place where she thought Izuku would be. After a long day, Izuku decided to have a drink to forget about reality for a while. He decided to go to the place his friend had written on the paper, so he set off. He arrived at a part of the city where everything was destroyed, but the green-haired boy was in shock because among so much rubble, he remembered that he was standing in the place. He ran down his old street until he reached a destroyed house. The paint had peeled off. He decided to venture into the rubble. Everything was burned and destroyed. He kept walking until he found a door on the floor. He removed the debris and saw that Izuku's name was written on it. He decided to keep searching among the rubble until he found a photo of his family. Izuku. Mom Dad D, shedding a few tears, I'm sorry, falling to his knees, I've become a monster please forgive me, while crying in the moonlight, he felt 2 hands behind him and heard a whisper, we love you. He turned around but found nothing. Then he heard a noise, so he hid, pulled up his hood, and took out his knife. He hid in the shadows and waited for whoever it was to kill. He saw a figure approaching, so he threw himself on top of it. They rolled on the ground until the freckled one was on top. He was about to stab him with the knife when the person's hood fell down, revealing the bi-colored one. Chapter 11. Izuku. What are you doing here? Standing up and putting the knife away. Shota. Well, I was looking for you. I didn't know where you were. I had a feeling you'd be here. In a cheerful tone. Izuku. Whatever. Leaving, but a wall of ice appeared in front of him. Shota. You don't have to do this, you know. Izuku. This is personal. Don't get involved in my problems. Breaking the ice. Shota. Then let me help you. With a slight blush as he lowered his head. Izuku. Why so much interest in me, huh? A little annoyed. Shota. Because. Shota's thoughts. Come on, tell him how you feel. Shota's thoughts. Because that's what friends do. Internally cursing himself for not telling him his feelings. Izuku. Looking at him intently, sighing, fine then, just keep me informed about what's happening with the heroes and students. Giving him his cell phone, he has my number saved. Leaving. Shota. Izuku, calling him, making him stop, "TT, be careful." Izuku. "Thanks, goodbye," disappearing into the darkness of the night. Shota went to UA where he went into his room, cursing himself for not confessing his feelings. He stared at the cell phone that the freckled boy had given him. Days passed where Izuku killed some villains, thieves, and the occasional hero who managed to stop him. He had obtained some information about the League of Villains. He had also heard that the League had created monsters. Every day Izuku trained to become stronger. Shota also informed him of the movements that the students and heroes made so that he could dodge them. He also left some traps for the heroes. All the heroes were frustrated since they couldn't capture him. We can see Izuku from a rooftop watching people pass by. He also saw how happy the families were, which made him smile melancholically. He saw a hero on patrol, so he decided to get revenge on him. He jumped, landing on top of him. He was about to stab him with his knife, but before he could, he had to dodge some knives that were thrown, which pierced the hero, killing him. Izuku. Stain, the hero killer. Stain. Izuku, the killer. They stared at each other, a fight was about to begin. Then it started to rain. They stared at each other. Izuku. "You know you just stole my victim, don't you?" He went on alert. Stain. "Sorry, kid, but you have to be faster." He drew his katana. Izuku. "It will be an honor to kill an idol." His smile widened. Stain. "Don't count your chickens before they hatch, kid." While licking his katana, both were pumping with adrenaline when a drop of rain fell. It was like a warning. "Let's get started." They both jumped out of the alley. The only sound was the clash of steel. Stain seemed to have a slight advantage since he had a sword, but Izuku also seemed to have an advantage since, having a slightly smaller weapon, he could move with a little more freedom. Izuku used the dead hero's body as a shield. Then there was a moment when lightning crackled. Meanwhile, at UA, in the room of a bi-colored girl, she was doing her homework until she sensed something like this. Looking out her window, she saw the rain falling and the sky lighting up with lightning. She put her hand to the window. Shota. Izuku, take care. Meanwhile, with the green-haired boy, both he and the hero killer had some injuries. Then Stain made a vertical cut that Izuku dodged and used his knife to try to block the attack, but he had received a cut on his arm. Stain. Hahaha, wow, kid, I admit you're very skilled. With the knife, too bad this has to end, licking his katana, immobilizing the green-haired boy. Stain. Haha, I'll give you a quick and painless death, slowly approaching the freckled boy. Izuku. TSK, damn it, trying to move but couldn't. Stain was already close to him, he raised his katana ready to cut off his head, but then he felt a pain in his chest, looking down, and the freckled boy had stabbed him with his knife while having a deranged look. Stain. Spitting blood. Izuku. The blood you drank wasn't mine, showing him his arm and he didn't have any cuts, surprising the hero killer. Izuku. You see, I used that hero's body to dodge some of your attacks. I knew that your quirk allows you to paralyze people if you drink their blood, no matter the amount, just one drop is enough to paralyze your victim. So I stained part of my knife, and the moment you thought you cut me, I took advantage. To put the hero's blood on your sword. Stain. Smiling, haha, spitting out more blood, boy, as my last wish, I want you to bury me with my katana. Weakly. Izuku. It's the least I can do for my idol. Stain smiled, but not the smile he always showed, but a smile of happiness, a smile of peace, closing his eyes. So Izuku took the body and the katana and left the place just as some officers and heroes arrived. Izuku carried Stain's body to the top of a hill where the city could be seen. He dug a hole with his hands, placing Stain's body and katana in the hole, and began to cover it. When he had completely covered Stain, he made a small cross with branches, placing Stain's mask on it. Izuku left the place as the sun began to rise. Izuku had arrived at his hiding place. Izuku. Tomorrow what I ordered will arrive. Sitting down in his armchair, but then he receives a call. Izuku. Yes. Shota. Izuku, the heroes know where you're hiding. Worried. Izuku. What? How? Shota. Apparently, a civilian told the heroes. The heroes have already left and are coming for you. Izuku. TSK, damn it. Throwing gasoline and setting off some fireworks with explosives. Shota. Izuku. Izuku. Calm down. They won't catch me. Besides, I have a little gift for the heroes. He finished the trap and left the place. Izuku. Thanks for letting me know. He cut the flame. A few hours passed. Izuku was watching the place from a camera when a hero entered and activated the trap. He, along with some heroes and police officers, didn't survive the explosion, and those who did were left in critical condition. Meanwhile, fireworks lit up the sky, and Izuku laughed maniacally. Chapter 12. We can see the green-haired boy now in a new hideout. He had also called Shota on the way and sent him the location to meet. Meanwhile, several villains were gathered in a bar. "DSK, why are we here?" said a man with several hands attached to him. "I don't know, but if we're all here, it's very important," said a mist in a suit. Then a screen lit up showing a man connected to several wires and wearing an elegant suit. "Sensei, why have you called us here?" said the man with his hand over his face. "Relax, Tamura. I've called you here to recruit someone," said the man with the hand over his face, now identified as Tamura. "A new member. And who is it?" said the mist. "Have you heard of the assassin who killed the UA principal?" surprising everyone. "Tamura. The brat named Izuku the killer." "That's right. I want you to recruit him." "And why do you want him?" The mist spoke. "Well, Kurogiri, now identified as Kurogiri to the mist, he has eliminated several heroes, even today he got rid of several heroes, some survived but were seriously injured, showing them the news, that's why I want him to join." "Tamura. And what if he doesn't want to join?" "Eliminate him, I don't want him to be a hindrance in the future," he spoke seriously. "Tamura. As you say, sensei, and what will happen with Stain?" "A hero killer, for now he won't be a problem, but keep trying to convince him, he will be of great help." Thus the screen went out. "Tamura. Alright, you heard him, look for Izuku the killer," he spoke to the other members. "Izuku the killer, yay, I'll be able to meet my idol," said a Redeed while raising her arms. "We better go," said a black-haired boy who had blue fire in his hand. Returning to the green-haired boy, he was arriving at his base, upon entering he saw Shota, who greeted him with a slap. "Izuku? And why was that?" rubbing his cheek. "Shota. Is that your great idea, to explode and kill and injure the heroes?" "Izuku? They asked for it." Trying to excuse himself. "Shota. Don't try to make excuses." "Izuku? And why are you mad at me, huh?" approaching threateningly. "Shota. It's just that seeing how Izuku was approaching him, he backed away." "Izuku? They asked for it, they want to stop me from achieving my goal." Starting to become blinded by anger, they pulling out his knife. "Shota. Izuku, wait." Throwing a knife at him, but he dodged it. Thus began a fight where the bi-colored girl tried to reason with the green-haired boy whose face showed madness and whose eyes reflected anger, pain, revenge, and suffering. These were the eyes the bi-colored girl had before seeing the freckled boy again. She was determined to return the favor. Flashback. Shota is seen training her eyesight when the freckled boy appears and stares at her as she leans against a tree. Shota collapses to the ground from exhaustion. "Izuku? Why don't you use your fire side?" "Shota. That's none of your business." In a serious and emotionless tone. "Izuku? Fine, it's just," throwing the knife at him, causing him to create a wall to block his path, freezing him a little more. "Izuku? Not bad, you have good reflexes." Approaching, taking the knife. "Shota." Freezing the ground, causing the green-haired boy to jump back. "Izuku? Please, look at yourself. In your current state, you wouldn't be able to hurt me." He approaches and extends, her hand being accepted, thus lifting the bi-colored girl. "Izuku? What do you say we make a deal?" Playfully. "Shota. A deal? Izuku? That's right. If you use your fire side and manage to burn me, I'll show you my full power, and if you want, I'll train you." Smiling, "What do you say? Do you accept?" Shota. She didn't want to use her fire side, but she was curious about how much power the freckled boy was hiding, but her pride wouldn't allow it. Shota. No. Leaving, but stopped when she heard Izuku call her. "Izuku? I understand. Maybe you're too weak to face me or endure my training." Mockingly. "Shota. What did you say?" Turning around. "Izuku? Oh, nothing. I'm just saying you're too weak to beat me. Besides, you only don't use your power because of your resentment towards your father." "Shota. You don't know anything about me?" "Izuku? You think so? I know this. Your father trained you since you were very little. So you can surpass number 1, tell me if I'm wrong about anything." "Shota. And what about you, a killer who kills just for fun or out of boredom?" "Izuku? You flatter me, haha. I think this is a tie for both of us, but what do you say? Do you accept? Besides, sooner or later you'll have to use your fire side." From that day on, Izuku tried to get her to use her fire side until one day he convinced her, saying, "Izuku, if you didn't use your power, you could cause the death of many innocent people just because of your pride. And tell me, can you live with that, with the guilt and remorse that innocent people died just because you didn't use your fire side?" Making the bi-colored girl think about his words, thus using her fire side. Thus began a friendship. They were walking until Shota asked him. "Shota. Izuku? Izuku? Yes. Shota. What you told me that day to use my fire side, thank you." Giving him a smile. "Izuku? It was nothing, really. I had to say something so cheesy to make you think. Receiving a blow to the arm. Then flashback. Shota. Thanks to you, I was able to use my fire side again. You helped me, now it's my turn to help you. Activating his fire side. Shota. I'll make you come to your senses again. Now it's my turn to save you. Punching him in the stomach, making him stumble back, but taking advantage of the moment to ignite his fist in flames and punch him in the jaw, making him spit blood. Then he froze his arms and legs, leaving him immobile. Shota. Izuku, I love you. Kissing him, Izuku was in shock, he didn't know what to think. The ice he was trapped in dissolved, and he returned the kiss. The kiss intensified, and little by little, the boys took off their clothes. And so that night they united in body and soul. Chapter 13. The next morning, the bi-colored girl was the first to wake up. She saw that he had fallen asleep on the green-haired boy's chest. Remembering what they had done yesterday, a deep blush spread across her face. She couldn't tell if Izuku was awake or asleep since she didn't have eyelids, making it difficult to tell. But she saw the green-haired boy hug her and pull her close. Seeing that he was asleep, the bi-colored girl simply decided to go back to sleep as she wanted to enjoy Izuku's presence. After a few hours, Izuku began to wake up, seeing Shota asleep. He smiled tenderly and stroked the bi-colored girl's hair. Little by little, she began to open her eyes. Izuku. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. Shota. Shaking her head, it's okay. Smiling. Izuku. You know, you have a lovely smile. Making the bi-colored girl blush. Shota. Thanks. Izuku. We'd better get up. There's a shower over there. I'll go make breakfast. So the bi-colored girl went to take a shower, while the green-haired boy Shota went to make breakfast. She didn't have much, so she improvised a bit. She managed to make 5 pancakes and a glass of orange juice. When the bi-colored girl got out of the shower, she dressed and went to eat what Izuku had prepared. Once she sat down, the freckled boy served her the pancakes, and she began to eat happily. Shota. Aren't you going to eat? Izuku. No, I'll eat something later. Once Shota finished eating, he said goodbye to Izuku, telling him to take care, giving him a quick kiss, and leaving for UA. The freckled boy decided to go out to eat something. He put on his hood and put away his knife, then went out to a cafe. When he entered, it wasn't very crowded. He ordered a coffee and also toast with scrambled eggs and bacon. The waitress took his order, and after a few minutes, she returned. The waitress tried to see his face, but luckily another person arrived, so she left. The green-haired boy finished eating, paid the bill, and left. He already had the explosives. He just needed to know where to find the league. He walked around the city. Until it got too late, he saw a blonde and a dark-haired man walking through a park. He didn't pay much attention until he saw the blonde murder some guys. So he went over to them since he was bored and thought it wouldn't hurt to have a little fun. But the guys. DSK, we still haven't found our target, the dark-haired man said. Hey, calm down, Davi, have fun, he said, stabbing the corpse repeatedly. Davi. It's better to go back to the league, he said. You're always so boring, the blonde said, starting to throw a tantrum. Davi. Sighing, let's go. But they saw Izuku walking towards them. Dabi didn't pay much attention, while Toga smiled, knowing she could make her last assassination before returning to the league. She readied her knife, ready to kill him. She waited for the man to pass by and attack him from behind. When she saw him walk past her, she couldn't hold back any longer and attacked, but was surprised when he dodged and grabbed her arm, lifting her up and throwing her to the ground. Dabi lit his hand, but the man kicked him in the face, stunning him slightly. The blonde got up and removed his hood, revealing the green-haired boy, surprising them both. Dabi. Well, it seems we found him. It can't be, it's Izuku. His cheeks are red and his face is full of excitement. Dabi. Well, Toga, remember what you said. He spoke to his partner, now identified as Toga. Toga. Haha, whatever you say. Staring intently at the freckled boy. Izuku. You guys know me. Dabi was, Toga spoke first. Toga. Of course, you're the one who killed the UA principal, the one who murdered several heroes and civilians just out of boredom or for pleasure, being too close to the freckled boy's face. Izuku's thoughts. DSK, she can't be a fan. Besides, from what I see, she's crazy. Just what I needed. Outside of the freckled boy's thoughts. Izuku moved Toga away from his face while Dabi prepared to speak. Dabi. Grabbing his partner, calm down, will you? Then he looks at Izuku, hey, we have a proposal for you. Izuku. A proposal? Curiously. Dabi. We want you to join the League of Villains. Making the freckled boy open his eyes, then his gaze darkened and his hair covered his eyes. Izuku. Where exactly is the League? Dabi. I'm sorry, but first you have to agree to join us and then you'll meet the League. Izuku. I don't want to kill you, you know, so just tell me where the league is. Then the blonde raises his hand. Toga. Oh, if you want, I can take you. Abi. Toga, don't forget what they told us. Izuku. You know, I think I'll just let the blonde live. Pulling out his knife, too bad for you. He lunged at the black-haired man, who just jumped back. He set his hand on fire and tried to incinerate him, but he couldn't. The freckled boy moved at incredible speed, making it almost impossible to burn him. Meanwhile, Izuku kept telling him where he was, but Dabi refused and got angrier. So, taking advantage of a moment of carelessness, Izuku stabbed him in the leg, making him let out a groan of pain. But he wasn't finished. Izuku grabbed him by the neck and slammed him to the ground until he was dead. Toga watched this, becoming increasingly aroused. The thought of tasting his blood crossed her mind, so she lunged at him, but Izuku dodged her and plunged his knife into her stomach, seriously wounding her. Toga. Haha, spitting out a little blood. Izuku. Where's the league? Toga. It's over there, pointing south, it's a bar, slowly closing her eyes, dying. Izuku. So that's where the League of Villains is, then he left the place upon seeing some heroes approaching. Izuku's thoughts. Almight, Afo, I'll kill them. Chapter 14. Izuku was walking in the direction Toga had told him to go. He had arrived at a place controlled by gangs. He didn't care about anything. He had a goal and he wasn't going to abandon it. Some gangs tried to outsmart him and ended up mutilated. It was a massacre. Intestines were hanging from the walls. There were bodies with their heads ripped off, others without eyelids, others with limbs torn off. It was a massacre, but what they all had in common was a grin from ear to ear. He had finally arrived at the bar. He didn't waste any time and kicked the door open, but he didn't find anyone. Everything was silent, too silent. Then he heard a noise, so he headed towards it, but something came crashing through the wall. He managed to dodge it just in time. Izuku. What the hell? Then he saw a creature in front of him. It was like a humanoid bird, and you could see its brain. He didn't have time to think because he had to dodge another attack. Izuku waited for the creature to make its next move, dodging and plunging the knife into it. The creature repeatedly punched the green-haired boy in the stomach, causing it to roar. It grabbed the boy by the head and slammed him to the ground, then threw him against a wall. Izuku. Standing up, unhappy thing. But he saw that the wound from earlier was gone, so he deduced that it had incredible regeneration. Then he became serious, because if he didn't finish it off quickly, it would be a problem. He couldn't be overconfident, so he launched himself at the humanoid bird, starting a fight where Izuku had a slight advantage, since the bird was so large it couldn't move with agility. Then the freckled boy appeared behind it and hung onto the creature's back, and with his knife, he began stabbing it in the brain, causing it to let out a great scream of pain. The creature slammed its back against the wall to try to get away from the freckled boy, but he endured the pain and continued stabbing it faster and faster, until he gathered all his strength and plunged the knife in completely, leaving only the wooden handle visible. Then the creature fell. He fell to the floor as blood streamed from his head. Then a screen lit up. Hello, Izuku. Izuku. And who are you? I have many names, but you can call me Afo. Izuku. So you're the one I've been looking for. Approaching the screen. Afo. Well, as you know, I want you to join my league, and he couldn't finish because the freckled boy had smashed the screen with his fist. Izuku. I'll find you. Grabbing a bottle of alcohol and leaving the bar, he had several wounds that were slowly closing, but the freckled boy went into an alley and leaned against the wall. He fell to the ground, fainting. After a few hours, he woke up, but he was lying on a couch. He tried to grab his knife, but he didn't have it. Then a voice called him. Calm down, kid. Izuku. Where am I and who are you? I think you're still confused. Peeking into the light. Izuku, what are you doing here, Jack? Jack. I brought you here. You're lucky I had a client to see. Lighting a cigarette and starting to smoke. Izuku. I see. Putting on his clothes, thanks. Standing up, by the way, where's my knife? Jack. Here it is. Throwing it to him, I took the trouble to sharpen it. It was losing its edge. Izuku. Good. Leaving but is stopped. Jack. 3 days. Izuku. Huh. What are you talking about? Jack. In 3 days, the League will attack the heroes. They'll all be there, even the one you're looking for. Izuku. How do you know that? Jack. I have my contacts. Izuku. Thanks for telling me. Leaving. The freckled boy left and headed towards his hiding place. When he arrived, he saw that someone was inside. He took out his knife, approached slowly, and saw a head of red and white hair. Izuku. Shota. In a question mark. Shota. Hi Izuku, giving him a smile. Izuku. What are you doing here? Shota. I came to see you, or can't I? Izuku. It's not that, just let me know when you're coming, okay? Sitting down. Shota. Okay. So the two sat down to eat since Shota had prepared katsudon. She knew it was the freckled boy's favorite since whenever they wanted to see each other, Izuku always invited her to a street food stall and always ordered the same thing. When the freckled boy was with a bi-colored girl, he felt peace, he felt calm when he was with her, he felt his murderous impulses disappear. When they finished, they talked a little. Shota. So tell me, have you found out anything about the person you're looking for? Izuku. Something like that. And tell me, what are the heroes up to now? Shota. No, nothing good, except that Almight seems very focused on finding you. Looking at the freckled boy to see his reaction. Izuku. Let him try. Making the bi-colored girl smile. Shota. By the way, Kota sends his regards. Izuku. The brat from the camp, receiving a nod, heh, I'm not such a scaredy cat anymore. Shota. And what will you do? Izuku. What will I do? Shota. When all this is over, what will you do? Izuku. I don't know. Making the bi-colored girl raise an eyebrow. Izuku. In the city, I'm already very well known, and the heroes won't rest until they capture me. Every day I'd have to avoid drawing attention. I just want peace, to start over. Shota. But that's impossible. The bi-colored girl questioned. Izuku. Here it is. Shota. Huh. What do you mean by here it is? Izuku. I mean, in this country it's impossible for me to rest, so when I finish my revenge, I'll leave the country. Surprising Shota, making her lower her head. Shota. I understand, that way no one will recognize you anywhere else. Clenching her fists, she felt hands touch hers. Izuku. Shota, I want you to come with me. Surprising the bi-colored girl, run away with me. Let's escape together when all this is over. Shota. Izuku, speechless. Izuku. Calm down, I'll give you time to think about it. Seeing that it was already night, I think you should go. It's very late. Shota. You're right. I'll leave before they notice I'm gone. So the bi-colored girl went to UA, where upon arriving she lay down on her bed. She couldn't get those words out of her head. That she should run away with him. But if she did, what would happen to her mother and siblings? She let out a sigh of frustration. Chapter 15. The next morning, the bi-colored girl was a little distracted, which her friends noticed. When they asked her what was wrong, she simply said she was fine, but she couldn't get that question out of her mind. She wanted to be with him, but she wasn't sure about the answer, so she texted her mother to ask if they could meet tomorrow. Her mother replied that there was no problem, so after classes, she went straight to see her mother, who greeted her. Ray. So, tell me, what's so important that you have to talk in person? Pouring her some tea. Shota. Well, you see, at that moment, her mother saw her daughter's expression and could see insecurity. Ray. Relax, take your time. Shota. Sighing and telling her what the freckled boy had said, the white-haired woman looked surprised, but then she understood what was happening to her daughter, putting her cup down on the table. Ray. I understand. I just have one question. Do you love him? That was surprising for the bi-colored girl, but she quickly answered. Shota. Yes, I love him. Her mother saw no doubt in her daughter's words, so all she could do was take her hands. Ray. Then you have your answer. Go to him. Shota. But mom, Ray. Calm down. If he makes you happy, don't lose him. It's time for you to find your own path, your own happiness. Just promise one thing, and that is that you visit us from time to time. Giving her a warm smile, the bi-colored girl couldn't help but shed a few tears, so she hugged her mother. Shota. Thank you. Ray. Don't worry, I'll tell your brothers. Now go to him. Do it. And so the bi-colored girl left her house and started running towards where the green-haired boy was. As she ran, she bumped into some people who stared at her. The bi-colored girl ran without stopping. When she arrived, she knocked loudly on the door but received no answer, so she knocked again and the door opened, revealing a freckled boy without his shirt, showing his toned body. Izuku. Shota, but he couldn't finish because he was kissed. At first he was surprised, but then he returned the kiss, letting her in and closing the door without breaking the kiss. Then they separated for lack of air. Shota. Izuku, I've decided I'll go with you. This made the green-haired boy happy. They kissed again, but with more intensity. Izuku began to remove the bi-colored girl's clothes and they proceeded to have sex. Moans and the sound of the sofa moving could be heard. Hours passed without either of them noticing. The only thing that mattered to them was that they were together. Meanwhile, in a building, the #1 villain was seen. Afo. Kurogiri, begin the preparations. Kurogiri. Yes, sensei, but what will happen with finding the killer, Izuku the killer? Afo. He's a nuisance, plus he killed 2 members of the League, although they weren't really important. Kurajiri. I understand. I'll warn the others. Thus leaving, he retreated, leaving the villain alone. Afo. Finally, we'll meet again, All Might. This time I promise I'll kill you. Meanwhile, at UA, a skeletal blonde boy was walking through the hallways until he started trembling and became short of breath. All he could say was, something bad is going to happen. He opened his chest and resumed breathing normally. In the morning, the freckled boy got up carefully so as not to wake the bi-colored girl. He prepared breakfast for her and went back to work. He started attaching bombs to a vest. Everything was ready. The day had arrived. Then he heard the bi-colored girl starting to wake up. Izuku. Good morning. Shota. Good morning. Putting on the freckled boy's hoodie, which was a little too big for him, covering his naked body, he approached the freckled boy and hugged him from behind, giving him a short kiss. Izuku. I made you breakfast. Shota. Thanks. They both felt comfortable in each other's presence. Then they heard a loud explosion. Izuku turned on a small television. Reporter. The League of Villains has revealed itself to the public and is causing destruction. Scared. Reporter. Wait, I just got a breaking news report. The symbol of peace, All Might, is apparently fighting the leader of the villains. Then a news helicopter was shown filming the fight. Izuku. Finally. But he was stopped by Shota. Shota. Please don't do anything stupid. Izuku. He looked into the bi-colored girl's eyes and simply kissed her. I promise. Shota. Promise you'll come back to me. Promise me. Izuku. I promise. So the bi-colored girl quickly changed and went out to help evacuate people, while the freckled boy simply watched the news for a few minutes. Then the freckled boy put on the vest with the explosives. Izuku. I'm sorry. Taking the detonator and exiting. The city was in chaos. You could see some heroes and villains fighting. Then All Might and All for One were seen fighting. The civilians were supporting the symbol of peace. Then All Might was going to deliver the final blow, but he felt a sharp pain in his stomach. Looking down, he saw a knife stuck in him. He saw the hand and realized it was Izuku's. Izuku. Did you miss me? Stabbing him further, making the blonde vomit blood. Everyone was surprised. Reporter. The killer Izuku the killer has made his appearance and has stabbed All Might with a K-knife. Afo. Well, so I see you decided to join forces. But he put his hand up so that he was pierced by the cold steel, letting out groans of pain. Izuku. You're wrong, I'm not on any side. Reporter. It seems the most feared assassin will face the most dangerous villain in the world. Izuku. Today you will die, Afo, and so will All Might. Seeing that the blonde was pressing on his wound to stop the bleeding. Chapter 16. At that moment, the freckled boy dodged a blast of compressed air that destroyed some buildings. Afo. We'll see about that. Thus began a fight where Izuku gave it his all. With each blow he landed, memories of his parents flooded back, gravely wounding the symbol of evil. The two of them destroyed everything in their path, while All Might crawled towards the freckled boy. His vision blurred, but his goal was to reach the green-haired boy. He tried to stand, but the pain wouldn't let him. Then, gathering his last bit of strength, he saw that Izuku was about to be impaled by an iron bar. At that moment, he managed to activate Ofa and stop the attack, grabbing him from behind. All Might said to the freckled boy. Young Izuku, I'm sorry for not telling you sooner, and I know it was our fault that your parents died. I hope you forgive me. Putting a little more pressure on his grip. Izuku saw that it wouldn't last long, but he didn't realize when Afo, activating one of his many quirks, transformed his hand into a kind of sword, plunging it into the freckled boy. Green-haired. Shota. Was watching the fight, Nuo shouted. Afo. Ha 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 ha, laughing like crazy, I win, but saw that the green-haired boy smiled. Izuku. No, showing the detonator, I'm sorry Shota. Afo. Damn it. So the freckled boy pressed the button, and the only thing that was heard was an explosion that cut off the transmission signal. The explosion was so big that it knocked down some houses and buildings, leaving only a crater. Inside, a cape, a destroyed helmet, and a knife could be seen. Shota ran towards the place with tears falling down her face. Some police officers tried to stop her, but she simply froze them. She reached the crater where she picked up the knife. She couldn't take it anymore and let out a scream of pain and sadness. The other citizens cried for the death of their symbol, while the villains were sad for the loss of their leader. Time skip. 1 week. A week had passed since what happened. The bi-colored girl didn't leave her room. She didn't let anyone in. No one else was there, not even her mother or siblings, but they received no response from the bi-colored girl. At night, she would cry silently, staring at her beloved green-haired boy's knife. One night, she fell asleep from crying so much when a shadow entered through her bedroom window. It crept along, saw the knife, and picked it up. She looked up at it, then slipped back out the window. The cold wind blew in, waking Shota. She saw the shadow and the knife and threw an ice pick at it, but it jumped away. She peered out onto the balcony and watched it disappear. She followed it, determined not to let them take away her only memory of Izuku. She threw fireballs and froze the ground, but it dodged them all. The chase continued until they reached the top of a house, which finally stopped them, as beyond lay a forest. Shota. Give me my knife, activating his fire and ice side. Your knife? Shota. Tell me if you don't want to die. At that moment, the figure removed his hood and mask, shocking the bi-colored girl. Shota. Izuku. Izuku. Hello, Shota, giving her a smile. The bi-colored girl ran towards him and threw herself into his arms, which he returned. Shota. But how? Izuku. I was given a second chance. Flashback. The freckled boy had pressed the detonator, creating an explosion that sent his body flying into a building that collapsed, burying him under the rubble. He could see nothing but darkness. Then a light appeared, blinding him. When the light disappeared, he saw that he was in a house. Izuku. I think I'm dead. Looking around the house, he entered, where there was no one until he heard a melody coming from the kitchen. He went towards it and saw a female figure. He found it strange until the figure turned around, surprising him. Izuku, a green-haired girl spoke. Izuku? Yes. Izuku, is it really you? Approaching him as he backed away until he hit a wall. I missed you so much, my baby, hugging him, leaving the green-haired boy in shock. Izuku. Does that mean you're my? Receiving a nod, letting out a few tears, then he hears someone coming down the stairs. Honey, haven't you seen my? Surprised Izuku, running and hugging him. So the family hugged. Izuku. I missed you so much, wiping his tears. Look at you, you're all grown up now, said the white-haired boy. Izuku. See, could you tell me your names? I don't remember them. Of course, honey, said the green-haired girl, my name is Inko Midoriya. I'm Hisashi Midoriya, said the white-haired boy. So the family they started talking. Inko. Wait, if you're here, does that mean you're dead? Surprised. Izuku. I think so. But then he started to become transparent, what's happening? Hisashi. I think you're not dead yet. Looking at his son. Inko. You can choose to stay here with us or go back. Izuku. Stay here or go back. Inko. That's right. Izuku. Thinking about whether to return or not, but then the image of a bi-colored girl came to mind. I'm sorry. Giving them a hug. Inko. Don't worry, we'll be waiting for you. Hisashi. We're proud of you, Izuku. Then everything went black, and when he woke up, he was on a stretcher connected to machines. I thought you wouldn't wake up. It's a miracle. Izuku. You're lucky I found you. If I had taken too long, I would be dead. Then flashback. Shoto. So you saw your parents? Izuku. Yes, with a smile, he stands up and approaches the edge of the roof. Shoto. Izuku, thinking he was leaving. Izuku. Shota Todoroki, would you like to come with this assassin to travel the world? Extending his hand. Shota, smiling. I'd accompany you to the very depths of hell, taking his hand. And so, the two disappeared into the darkness of the forest. The next morning, several heroes were searching the bi-colored girl's room since one of her friends had reported her missing. Her siblings were also there. Then her mother saw a green hair. Ray. I hope you're happy, daughter. Meanwhile, in another country, a bi-colored girl was seen freezing some villains. Then she impaled one with her beak, killing him. She approached where a green-haired boy was standing while stepping on one of the villains' heads. Shota. Honey, I think it's time to go. Izuku. You're right, killing the guy. But then a police officer entered the place. Police officer 1. Stop. Hands where I can see them. Pointing his gun at him. Izuku. Well, we have one more. Shota. Too bad it's only one. Policeman. Hands where I can see them. Izuku. Shota. Go to sleep. Only one gunshot was heard. The end. Ova. Years passed and Izuku and Shota had started a family. Izuku had stopped killing for a while. He wanted a normal life, but he knew his murders made it impossible. Nevertheless, he tried. He took a job as a mercenary since he knew he wouldn't find a regular job. He had 2 children, a boy and a girl, twins. Izuku named the boy Hisashi after his father. He had green hair with white tips. He named the girl Inko after his mother. She had two-toned hair like her mother. Shota's mother and her siblings went to see their grandchildren and nephews. Of course, Izuku felt a little uneasy since he didn't know how they would react to seeing that he was the most feared assassin of all, but in the end, everything turned out well, much to his surprise. For the first time in his life, he truly felt at peace. He no longer had to hide. Everyone thought he was dead, and that made him smile. If he killed and left no witnesses, no one would know it was him. Of course, he forgot to leave his mark to put a smile on the faces of his victims. Thanks to Shota and the birth of his children, he could control his bloodlust, but something worried him. Questions swirled in his head. What would he tell his children when they asked him why he didn't have eyelids, why he had a cut that formed a smile, or why his skin was white? He didn't know how to answer them. He knew that sooner or later they would ask. He didn't want to involve them because of his past. He didn't want them to see him as a murderer. Just thinking about the looks of disappointment or fear his children would give him made him feel bad. He knew his past would haunt him in the future. That was his sin, and no matter what he could change. He watched his children sleep in their cribs. No matter how many years passed, he still had nightmares that kept him from sleeping well. Then he saw Hisashi wake up and look at him. Izuku simply smiled, but his smile gave him an appearance that would frighten even the bravest, but he simply saw how his son smiled at him. So he took him from his crib and went to the kitchen. He prepared the bottle to give it to him, and once that was done, he began to rock the little one until he fell asleep again. Then, putting him back in his crib, he saw that his daughter was moving restlessly, so he took Inko's favorite stuffed animal and gave it to her, and his daughter calmed down. He went out onto the balcony and began to gaze at the moon. Izuku also knew he would have to tell them about his parents, but he didn't know if he could. Then he felt arms behind him, which calmed him, the arms of the only person who could help him stay in control. So he turned to see the bi-colored girl, who smiled at him and kissed him, a kiss he returned. He knew he could count on Shota and that she would be there for him no matter what. It was the two of them against the world, and he would do anything to keep her and their children safe. He never thought he would get married or have a family until he met her. He would never forget the day he arrived at UA and saw her sitting in her seat with those dull cold eyes. Now her eyes were full of life and radiated happiness. He knew Shota would help him when the day came that he had to tell his children about his past. She is his light, his world, she is his ice princess. The end. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.